On to game match 3. We are currently 2-0 in our league, and we get paired against Surfing Bird, which means the mirror. And unfortunately, probably not the player I want to see in the mirror. I don't feel particularly good coming into this matchup. While I normally do alright in the mirror, I think this is one of those times when I'm liable to lose quite quickly. We see a pretty great opening 7. Probe therapy to deal with anything he might want to do game 1 or like in his first turn or so. And then we have a Brainstorm and LED and a Past in Flames, with Past in Flames being just absolutely amazing in this matchup. And we can see Cabal Ritual, Infernal Tutor, Lotus Petal. The only really interesting card here is going to be Infernal Tutor. The rest are all just lands and nothing much we're particularly worried about. Unfortunately, we just keep drawing lands, which is going to be a problem. And we're just going to take that tutor now. We don't want a Brainstorm or something leading to a turn 1 or a turn 2 win. So we'll take the tutor, play out our LED, because I think that's going to be the one thing that we can't recycle with the Past in Flames. And so he's drawn an LED for turn. So his hand is Island, Cabal Ritual, Bayou. We don't really care. And we're getting pretty screwed here on land drops. Fortunately, we found another preordain, so we can keep filtering. So I had to just pause there for a second to decide if we want another colour of mana instead of an Underground Sea. We're going to bottom the Duress, I think, because we're actually just looking at filtering through our library as quickly as possible at the moment. We really just want to, we don't want to be drawing a Duress per turn, we want to be drawing mana or a tutor. Okay, our opponent's found a Brainstorm, which is probably not the best news for us. We're kind of just hoping he gets Brainstorm locked here. And unfortunately, he does not. And instead, he's going to be able to... He's found another tutor and a second Cabal Ritual, which actually means he's now going to have enough mana to Past in Flames kill us. So we just have to kind of... I guess, yeah, pretty much just move on to game 2. We're going to board in 2 Flusterstorms. and I think cut a Trop, a Preordain, and I think cutting a Therapy for a Petition to proof against Surgical a little better in this matchup is actually worthwhile. I think Discard's thoroughly overrated in the matchup. You can shred each other's hands and someone can just top deck Past in Flames and win anyway. So I think just having a higher level of redundancy is better. This is a decent hand. We would like to have a Black Source in the opener, but that's fine. We're going to probe. And we can see double Therapy, Petition, double LED, Delta Ponder. So the hand doesn't really do anything much at the moment. Petition's just a bit of a brick here. So really all he can do is kind of try to slow us down a little bit. And this turn I think I'd rather Preordain. Duress isn't going to basically we have time. Given the nature of his hand, we have time. So we're better off Preordaining and intending to Brainstorm and probably Duress next turn. And yeah, like obviously Probe was the best possible top deck for him here. Being able to actually have an informed Therapy is going to be great for him. And I think he's going to take the Tutor. There's merit in taking the Brainstorm here. However, that line still loses to an LED off the top. So I think taking the Tutor is the best action here. Yep, so there we go. He does, yep. He's taken the Tutor. And he's going to play out one of his LEDs. And here I think we can put back a Underground Sea and a Dark Ritual, just to make us a bit more resilient to Cabal Therapy. Obviously I'm thinking about putting back the Brainstorm, but the Rituals, the Dark Ritual's the correct choice here. And I think we need to Duress here. And once again, I'm deciding colours of mana. Deciding basically whether or not to grab a Badlands instead. I guess what we want to take here is, the reason we want to take the Dark Petition is that if he finds a couple of Dark Rituals, or a couple of Rituals of any sort, we might just lose. And he's going to Therapy us again. And obviously he's getting a bit stuck on mana here. Okay, and here we need to Brainstorm, and what we want to do is, okay, so here we need both the LEDs. We're cold to surgical here, but we're not going to try to beat that. We're going to keep one of the Cabal rituals in hand, dump both LED and keep both LEDs. We can put the other Cabal ritual below a Gitaxian probe. The reason being we can probe into the Cabal ritual, which will just build some storm and give us a bit more mana. But beyond that, we're just flashing back past in flames. We already have everything else we need in the graveyard. So our Dark Ritual that we lost before, our Cabal Ritual, and he's just going to scoop. So I think that's, as I said, why I don't like discard so much, and why I think it might have been correct to board in a petition, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And unfortunately, we are now on the draw. And our hand's okay. We have a therapy, we have a tutor, we have a ritual, and we have an LED. The tutor is slightly awkward, as Cabal Ritual is not going to get it going. It's not a tutor we want to be drawing now. But that's okay. I think, yeah, obviously Cabal Ritual, once we get Threshold online, is going to be fine. So our opponent has cast Probe. We're kind of half expecting them to follow up with a Therapy. Okay, second Probe, so they're just cycling that for the extra card. And they cast a Tormod's Crypt, which is actually really ruins us here, because we have a very graveyard dependent tutor and a very graveyard dependent ritual. So with the hand we have, Tormod's Crypt is quite bad. Ditch the therapy, we'll take the probe. We already have a therapy in hand. And we see a okay hand. It's not great. There's a couple of brainstorms and a couple of fetch lands, and it's a hand that can probably go places soon. And I make a stupid mistake here by assuming that he's tapped out because he played Tormod's Crypt and Probe last turn. For some reason I had a brain fart and forgot that neither of those cost mana. So he gets to brainstorm in response to our therapy. We were hoping to snag both of his brainstorms. So we're just going to have to hope for the best here. And fortunately, his hand's not amazing, although he does have that second brainstorm. I think despite the fact that our hand is a bit more graveyard dependent, it is a bit stronger and more redundant. I don't think there's anything that we can't afford to lose at the moment. Infernal Tutor would probably, losing Infernal Tutor probably hurts us the most. The reason being, LED, Cabal Ritual into Petition to LED doesn't really hurt us, that doesn't really get us anywhere. Whereas an Infernal Tutor, yeah, an Infernal Tutor's better at getting us our win con here. We need less mana to make that happen. He's going to duress us. He's probably going to take the LED, which obviously enables the Infernal. I think there's a case for either LED or Infernal here, but that's obviously the card he wants to take there. So. And we'll ponder. And we're going to take a little bit of a risk here. We kind of want to keep all of these with the intention being that we find our a Dark Ritual and an LED next turn. So we're going to keep the Brainstorm to protect our hand. We want to next turn Brainstorm into the Ponder, get rid of the Dark Petition. And hopefully what we'll do is Ad Nauseam. Because obviously with the Tormod's Crypt in play, we don't have a Past in Flames kill. So we're going to be a little bit worried here that we won't live. Our opponent's kind of had a bit more sculpting time than we have. Okay, and that's a worry. So he fires off a Cabal Ritual, thresholded. Petition, so this will, if he grabs another, so he could grab something like Cabal Ritual for +1 mana. So that'll bring him up to 6. And then I think LED into a Tutor would get him a Past in Flames kill. Okay, and another Petition for what I think by now the only thing that he can do is grab another Cabal Ritual. Bring him up to 7 mana. And fortunately for us, he's a little bit shy of being able to Tutor Chain. So he has to Ad Nauseam. And his Ad Nauseam is with no mana, so he needs a Petal. He's played land for turn as well. This is kind of like a risky... It's a risky play. And he hasn't found anything. He's got everything he needs for a Past in Flames kill if he finds a petal. And he doesn't, and he just flips Past in Flames. And so we get there not because we did anything particularly interesting.